Welcome back to God's Blueprint. If you thought your family gatherings had a little bit of drama, wait until you see what happens in Genesis 27. Today, we are looking at a story of absolute betrayal, elaborate disguises, and a stolen blessing that tears a family apart for decades. Grab your coffee. This is the ultimate biblical soap opera. Let's look at the blueprint. Isaac is now old, frail, and legally blind, sensing his death might be near. He calls his favorite son, Esau, and asks him to go hunt some wild game, cook up his favorite savory meal, and come back to receive the ultimate patriarchal blessing. But Rebekah is eavesdropping. Remember the prophecy from chapter 25? God had told her that the older son would serve the younger. Instead of trusting God to fulfill his word, Rebekah decides to take matters into her own hands. She calls her favorite son, Jacob, and hatches a wild plot. We're gonna trick your father into giving you the blessing instead. Jacob is terrified, not because it's wrong, but because he's afraid of getting caught. He tells his mom, Esau is a hairy man and I'm smooth-skinned. If my father touches me, he'll know I'm a deceiver and curse me. Rebekah has a fix for everything. She cooks up a goat stew, dresses Jacob in Esau's favorite clothes, and literally wraps goat skins around Jacob's neck and hands to mimic Esau's hairiness. Jacob walks into his blind father's tent, carrying the food. What follows is a tense, cringe-worthy interrogation. Isaac is suspicious. He says, "The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau." He brings Jacob close, smells the outdoor scent of Esau's clothes on him, eats the food and falls for the trap. Isaac releases the irrevocable, generational blessing over Jacob, promising him prosperity, dominion, and the covenant leadership. Jacob slips out of the tent, and literally minutes later, Esau walks in with his hunted game. The moment of realization is devastating. The text says that when Isaac realizes he's been tricked, he trembles violently. Esau bursts out into a loud, bitter cry, begging his father, "Bless me too, my father." But in the ancient world, the spoken prophetic blessing was legally binding. It couldn't be taken back. Isaac can only give Esau a secondary blessing, predicting a life of struggle and subservience to his brother. The immediate fallout is terrifying. Esau openly vows to murder Jacob as soon as their father dies. Realizing the danger, Rebekah tells Jacob he has to pack his bags and flee 400 miles away to her brother Laban's house in Haran. The family is utterly broken by their own deception. Genesis 27 leaves us with a profound truth about God's blueprint. God can hit a straight blow with a crooked stick, Jacob, and Rebekah used manipulation, lies, and deceit to get what God had already promised them freely. God's ultimate purpose still stood. Jacob was the chosen line. But because they chose deception over faith, they paid a massive price in broken relationships and exile. Thank you for joining us for this study on God's blueprint. If this deep dive into the messiness of the patriarchs helped you see the complexity of Scripture, hit that like button and subscribe. Next time, Jacob is out in the wilderness alone when the heavens open up. We'll see you in the next chapter as the story of faith continues to unfold. Before you go, here is today's question. Rebekah and Jacob knew what God's ultimate will was, that Jacob would lead, but they used dishonest means to make it happen. Have you ever been tempted to use crooked methods or manipulation to achieve an outcome that you genuinely believed was good or right? How did you handle that tension?